Okay guys, so I'm not really going to start this video off with a most woke empty house business guy joke because I think it's serious and I see this in a lot of people and it's a mistake I made and my life changed 10 times for the better when I identified this. And I think it's one of the main reasons why people just overall fail at life. They don't accomplish anything, they don't get anything done, and I don't know how I'd get anything done. I don't know how I'd accomplish anything without doing this. And I also think it's kind of one of my superpowers. It's one of the reasons why I get better results than a lot of people in a lot of things. And I think it leads to a lot of people being lost. So let me explain, because people think I'm crazy for doing this, and I think they're crazy for not doing this. I think they're absolutely insane. What's going to happen to them is so unbearable than anything I'm about to describe. And I think you'll get it here in a second. Again, it's going to take me about 5 to 10 minutes to explain this. So again, if you want to go watch a cat video or a Taylor Swift video, that's fine. But something terrible is going to happen to you in 10 to 20 years, and you're not even going to see it coming. You're not even going to understand why. And you're never going to hit any of those things that you care about or want to do in your life. And this is why. This is fundamentally why. A lot of people in the comments section, especially when I started talking about this and why I basically kind of live like a monk, and I'm not like, I don't view myself as a Buddhist monk level discipline. However, if you look at my lifestyle, I live in an apartment with no furniture. Okay, I'm not out dating, I'm not out partying, I'm not out drinking. I live off oatmeal, spinach, chicken, and olive oil, really limiting diet to keep my dopamine levels really low. I don't have a great social life. I don't have a ton of friends. Okay, I'm not super closely connected with my family at all times. I'm not out there traveling the world. I'm not seeing all these new things. I'm not gaining tons of new experiences in my life. I don't have any other hobbies than working on my business. I avoid video games or anything that gives me short-term hits of dopamine. There's a lot of lack in my life. And the one thing I want to point out before we get into it, this isn't because I don't like these things. I love partying and drinking. It's fantastic. Going out with your friends, drinking 10 White Russians in a night, enjoying a nice boozy dinner, going to the club, getting a table, I love it, okay? I love going and buying a private jet and flying to Vegas and going absolutely ham. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love Super Smash Bros. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I love eating bad food. I love to go to dinner and eat like 8,000 calories at a time. I like hanging out with my family. It's really enjoyable. I love my friends. There's nothing better than hanging out with my friends, except for my purpose. In life, I know what I want. And so you're going to see me talking about these things. You're going to think, well, Alex just doesn't want those things. Alex is some complete antisocial weirdo. Not the case. I miss all the things, but I know, and I'm able to avoid these things because I know what I want. I know what I want to do. I know the one thing that I'm not willing to not do. I know what I'm willing to actually dedicate my life towards. And that allows me to actually move in that direction and actually be fulfilled. The problem is, most people, A, don't know what they want to dedicate their life towards. They don't have a purpose for living. And then 2, they sort of do, or they sort of know, but they're never going to get there. And they're not able to sacrifice for it. And they're not able to give up things for it, because they don't understand how sacrifice and how their energy and time works. And that's what the point of this video is. And I give up everything to pretty much focus on my one goal, at least in this time period of my life, which is building Hyros to a certain level and hitting a certain amount of success, because that's just what I've decided to focus my life around right now. That's what means the most to me. And a lot of people, when you read the comments section, say this guy is insane, he's not doing things the right way. They're really bothered by it. And that's scary. And you don't want to accept it, because there's so many people who are telling you, oh, you can have it all. You can have a life of balance. That's an accepted thing in society. Have all these little fruits. Enjoy everything. Live this nice, cozy life. And boy, do self-help gurus tell you that. Everyone's going to tell you that. And you know why they tell you that? Because it's what you want to hear. And when they tell you what you want to hear, they can get you to buy things that will tell you more stuff that help you confirm what you want reality to be. That's not reality. That's not the truth. If you go look at anybody who's done anything great with their lives or succeeded in any area of their lives, whether it's with their family, whether it's with their business, they're not balanced at all. They've sacrificed a whole lot. There is so much they've missed out on so they can enjoy the one thing they care about, to be honest. And I'm just going to give you a quick note right here. The number one way to ensure that you're not crazy is when 95% of people disagree with you. Now, it's not all cases, okay? If you're out there eating your poo and you're like, oh, 95% of people disagree with me, that's not the scenario. You want to find something where 95% of people disagree with you, but 5% of very, very smart people agree with you. Because 95% of people are so off base in their life. They get such poor poor results in their life, that the number one way to guarantee you get poor results is just make sure everybody agrees with you. Because so many people are so uninformed, if you're in the group think, that's the number one sign that you're in the wrong think. It's just the number one sign. Unless you were born in a community of people who are super self-aware, completely understand how to get results in life and are killing it, which you probably aren't. No one's born in a community like that. Everything that's probably taught to you by your community and your surroundings is mostly wrong. Why? Look at the results they're getting. Okay, if it was right, they'd be getting different results. More so, when I read the comment section, people think that I'm making a big sacrifice here. And in my view, I'm not making a big sacrifice. Actually, I'm preventing something horrible from happening to me, like I talked about a little bit earlier in this video. And I cannot think of anything worse in my life than looking back 10 years from now and being full of regret, thinking that I wasted my time, thinking that I didn't put my energy into the things I wanted to go for and did not achieve them. I did not allow myself to go and get the things that were important to me. And that's because when you refuse to sacrifice in your life, the things that actually matter to you become the sacrifice. I think I got that quote from my buddy Sam Ovens, and I think he got that quote from someone else, but we'll just say it came from Sam. And the reason why most people are not successful, one of the reasons, there's a few. The reason why they're unhappy with their life, the reason why they're unhappy with the results, is one, they haven't identified what's really important to them. What's the most important thing to you? What are the one or two things that are most important to you? And more so, they're going through life following, this isn't some anti-society, fight the man thing, but they're going through life including all these things that society tells them they should include. Oh, you should be out partying, you should be out socializing, you should be dating, you should talk to a lot of girls, you should be going out to eat and enjoying food, you should be traveling all the time and doing these things. Okay, that's great. None of these things are necessarily wrong. But the problem is when you haven't identified what's most important to you, what is worth sacrificing everything for, well, you're just going to split your energy and your power all over the place. And when you're doing that, you're not also very careful with your power and your energy. You're going to constantly do things that sap it and give you zero return. For example, I always see in the comments section people asking me about like my dating life and stuff like that. They will ask me about my social life, and I'll tell you right now, it's pretty much non-existent. Am I going to be antisocial and against dating forever? No. But at this point in my life, yes, because there's nothing dumber than going and putting 10% of your time here, 10% of your time here, 10% of your energy here, because you're going to get zero return. Okay? If I have 100% of my energy and 60% of it is split 6 different ways, all those things are not going to get me any return in my life. They're going to give me literally zero. If you're out all the time partying and drinking and eating bad food and doing all these things, you're also sapping that energy as well. You're lowering your overall energy. And what happens when you do that is you have a bunch of things that give you zero return. Because the way results work in life is you don't start getting results until you start investing 80 and 90% of your energy into something. It's a very flat curve. Okay, you're putting 10% of your energy in, very flat results. For example, people that try and start businesses, this is chronic, they try and put in 10, 20% of their energy and expect to start getting results. It's not. You don't really start getting results in anything you do until about 80 or 90% of your energy is invested in that thing. And so when you have your energy split all over the place and then you're confused about what's important to you, you completely waste your energy. It's going to be wasted in a bunch of 10, 20% things because you're thinking you want to have a well-balanced life. And then it's going to be wasted in things that give you zero return that you think are important. For example, what's chronic in guys, they think dating and partying and being cool and popular is very important. It gives you zero return. All right, you can invest 10 years of your life in that, and you're going to get nothing back. Let's back up a little bit because I think I made my point there. When people see me living like a monk, they think I'm suffering. And that's true. I definitely am cutting so many things out of my life, and that's so I can take all that power and put it only in the things that I know 10, 20 years from now, I'm going to look back and say, I'm so happy I did that. Also, because I've identified what's important to me, I put in the things that actually give me fulfillment. So I'm actually happier in my life right now because I'm not confused. Things aren't going in 8 different directions. If you've ever been in the point in your life where you're doing the 10, 20%, and you're also investing your time in total loss activities, well, look back. You've probably already done it in your life. I know for me, I'm just full of regret in those things because you got nothing out of it. And that's simply what happens if you're not willing to sacrifice. You're going to have to give up certain things for other things. You can't have everything all in your life. You can't have a great family life and an incredible business. You can't be the world's best at something and then have everything else in balance as well. It doesn't work like that. It's simply Does not. You can go and become the best at something and then start balancing things out. But in that time period where you're trying to do something great, the best way to ensure that you hit that thing that's most important to you is to focus all your energy in on it. And so when you look at my lifestyle, I think about what 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, if I'm on my deathbed, what would be the most horrifying thing? It'd be, well, you loved building things. You loved creating things. And how horrifying would it be to know that you never even took a full swing at creating something great? You had all these visions, you had all these dreams, but because you were balancing all these other things that aren't really as important to you as that, you never got the thing that you actually care about. That's horrifying because, man, when you're 50, 60, 70 years old, you don't really have time to really go and invest in these things. And also, one thing I want to point out to all you young entrepreneurs, like live it up while you're young and stuff like that, that's great. But from about 20 to 45, that's the time you have where you have the energy and perseverance to deal with starting a startup. When you're 45, 55, 60, you're not going to be doing that. And so these years right now are critical. You actually have a really short gap in your life, just like a professional athlete, of when you can start up businesses and do things. And so I have to ask myself, what's more important? Going out and partying right now, or the thing that's most important to me? What's more important? Having a super healthy social and family life right now, or the thing that's really important to me? What's more important to me? Getting married and having kids and dating, or getting the thing that's most important to me? What's more important? Having this big house and all these things and possessions and whatnot? No. And so what I committed to myself is that I'm going to get the thing that's most important to me in life. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try my very best damnedest at it. And I'm going to accept that I'm not going to have the other things. And that's why I live somewhat like a monk. Because I want something that's worthy of the pursuit of my life. I only got one of them. So I want to dedicate it to something that's worthy. So a goal that actually means something to me. Now, you might be different. That's fine. But if you're confusing, here's the problem. If you just want to have a well-balanced, screw off, just kind of life, go for it. There's no problem with that. Everyone's going to die and nothing's going to matter, really. So you can kind of be a nihilist in that effect. It's all about what you determine is important to you. You get to determine what's important to you. Nothing actually really matters. That being said, I see so many people, they're frustrated with their results in life. And the reason why they're doing this is because they keep trying to live a life without sacrifice. It's not going to happen. It's just going to lead to you making the ultimate sacrifice at the 10-year mark, 20-year mark, 30 years out. The longer you sit around and keep trying to include and factor everything into your life, the longer you're going to have to suffer without the results you're looking for. Won't sacrifice your diet? Well, guess what? You're not going to be able to think as clearly. Won't sacrifice playing video games? Guess what? You're not going to be focused as you need to be. Won't sacrifice going out and partying? Well, guess what? You're not going to be as effective as most entrepreneurs. You're going to be really distracted. Won't sacrifice dating? Well, guess what? You're going to be spending tons of time and investing tons of emotional energy with a lot of people that have a very, very low chance of being a perfect fit for you. And if you look at most marriages over time, it's a gigantic waste of energy and effort. Most marriages don't work. And most people that stay in marriages aren't really happy. There's a few. Those are people that devote all their energy into their marriage. It takes a lot of time to stay with someone for so long. And man, that's a risky place to put your time and energy if you're not fully committed to raising a family and being married. If you're not 110% in, like that's what you want in your life, that's a big risky investment. You won't sacrifice your lifestyle? Guess what? You're going to be limited. Everything you won't sacrifice takes you away from your goal. Every bad habit you won't get rid of. Every little thing that you try and bring with you is going to take away from that big goal. So this is why most people fail. Because they're trying to go and hit their goal while dragging around hundreds of pounds of weight and baggage of stuff they won't sacrifice. It's like a person trying to get off a ship in a lifeboat and they're trying to take all their luggage with them. It's not going to work. You're not going to survive. And that's fine as long as you understand that. Look, you're going to suffer at some point. You are going to suffer at some point. If you spend your life diddly-doodling around and trying to be balanced and not sacrificing things, guess what? You are going to get to the point where you are in so much pain because you have gotten nothing that you ever wanted. But the problem is you can't do anything at that point. You're at zero. Whereas if you sacrifice in your life for what matters to you, is there a guarantee that you're going to get the thing you wanted? No. But through that sacrifice, you're going to create a closer connection with yourself. You're going to develop as a person, and you're going to find fulfillment because you're actually working on the thing that matters to you. You know that the time you're putting into it is working towards the thing that matters to you. And so I just wanted to point that out to you because I see so many people doing this. You're going to suffer at some point. Until you learn how to sacrifice, you're not going to get anything. It's like you're playing a game of gambling and you're never going to win anything. You're just going to keep bobbling around and getting the same exact no results you're getting right now in your life. And it's just painful to me because I see people and they keep trying to have it both ways. They won't develop any discipline. They won't sacrifice social media. They won't sacrifice the things that are distracting them. They won't sacrifice bad people in their life. They won't sacrifice actually learning effective work habits so they can get something done over a 4-hour period. They won't sacrifice giving up certain things that are hurting their health and their focus and their sleep. They won't sacrifice anything. And they want everything. And it won't happen. You won't get anything. And the thing that you were thinking about that's super important in your life right now, you won't get it at all. And until you identify all the little insecurities as well that are making you go and invest time in stupid stuff. For example, this perfect thing. So many guys are out there trying to master themselves while being socially cool or something. They're super insecure, and so they need to go out there and get the approval of women, get the approval of other people, get the approval of all these people. All these people that have nothing to do with your goal. Live in this certain way and enjoy all these things simply because they don't know what drives them and they're not willing to sacrifice for it. And I feel bad for those people because they're going to make the ultimate sacrifice. And so that's just kind of the end of this rant, guys. I wanted to point this out because people are always asking, why do you live like this? Or you shouldn't be doing this. People saying that are crazy. People asking those questions are crazy. That's it.